And we thought we were getting that with Trump. That's, by the way, what Make America Great Again means. The whole idea of Make America Great Again is this idea that the country is stuck. The country can't do anything. The government has no efficacy. The government can't solve problems, and neither can the private sector. It seems like our country is dying, and basically people are unable to stop it. People are either apathetic and they don't care, or people are inept and they're not competent enough. And it seems like the whole country's falling off the cliff and no one is able to even do anything. And we're looking at these energetic countries with tons of young people, whether it's in the Middle East or it's in Asia. We look at cities like Dubai. We look at cities like Singapore. We look at Beijing, Hong Kong. And people say, why can't we build things like they're building in China? Why can't, in China, they build bridges, they build things. We can't build anything. In Dubai, they build like world wonders and it's peaceful. In Chicago and New York, it's a shithole. It's dirty. There's crime everywhere. It smells like weed. You can't build anything. And the whole idea of Trump getting into office is that we would get the energy back. We would get this initiative back. That's what Make America Great Again meant. And yes, the aesthetics of MAGA had in it, you know, I'm not a socialist, but this idea of like heavy industry, like factories making stuff. Like Americans would be drafted not to go and fight in the Middle East, but literally drafted to build shit in America. You're going to get a job, you're going to work, and we're literally going to make things. We're going to make our country great. We're going to build skyscrapers, bridges, infrastructure. We're going to work with our hands. We're going to have factories. We're going to be a productive nation that builds the future. That was the whole premise. And Americans would do it. It was that Americans would do the building, not Chinese, not Indians, not foreign labor, not outsourcing. American labor, American builders, buying American, hiring American, American ingenuity and entrepreneurship and innovation and labor and companies would literally create our future. That was the idea of MAGA.
Exactly, and I completely agree with Nick on this one. And what happened with this MAGA idea? Seriously, what happened? I feel like Donald Trump doesn't care about MAGA anymore. He cares more about other countries than our own nation. And this is so shocking because also his slogan is America First, right? Donald Trump is busy with almost every nation in the world, every country in the world, but not with our own nation. Why? I have no idea. If someone knows the answer, please share it in the comments. But Donald Trump should focus more on our own nation. Exactly everything what Nick just said here, it's so right. We should build like our own country instead of building other countries. We should invest money in our own country instead of sending money to other countries. Why are we not doing this? This is a very good question. Why are we hiring so many foreigners? And again, I'm saying this as a foreigner myself, so don't get me wrong. Americans can do these jobs and we need Americans doing these jobs because this is better for the economy, it's better for our own nation, and we need to stop caring about all these other countries and we should start to care more about our own nation, the United States.
And that's inspiring, the idea that everybody would be drafted behind a common vision that we can all get behind, which is greatness, which we had but which we have lost. This kind of momentum and initiative that we had, but we lost. We're an aging country. We're slowing down. We're in the twilight or the autumn of our time period as an empire and as a civilization. And people said people would come forward from the Midwest, from flyover country, from the heartland, and they would go forward to DC to work in government, and they'd be part of this transformation. The factories would return and people would go to the factories and they would build things. They'd make fucking cars. They would make airports. They would make bridges. We would build new cities, literally, and have kids and build houses. Like, yeah, we can do it. That was the idea. We can do it. And now here we are 10 years later and the message is the opposite. You can't do it. We're not talented. We don't have the talent because you can't. We need immigrants. We need Venezuelans to do Uber. We need Salvadorians to pick the grapes. We need Indians to do our programming. We need Koreans to build our missiles. Like, now we're getting the opposite. Trump 2016 was like, I don't care. We're going to win. We're going to take the country and make it great, and nothing will stop us. We're going to cut the red tape, ignore the media. We're not going to take donor money, and we're just going to fucking do it. Like, that was the idea. And now, here we are 10 years later, and the message is like, we can't do anything. Politics is too difficult. It's political reality. I could send all the Chinese and illegal farmers home, and I guess that would make some people happy, but what are you going to do? Let the colleges go out of business? We don't have any talent here. We need Indians to do our jobs for us. And that it's less so the policy, because look, people are realistic. People know Rome wasn't built in a day. We want to build Rome in like 20 years, but it wasn't built in a day. Okay. But what is really crushing after 10 years is the message. And it's like Trump is getting old. His movement is getting old. America's getting old. And it feels like as Trump loses energy, as he has been defeated in a way, it feels like the movement is being defeated.
Yeah, and again, surprise, surprise, I completely agree with Nick on this as well, because I feel like the credibility, like Trump's credibility is almost gone. And for be honest, I really like the guy. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to defend Donald Trump or anything, but probably many people who are watching this, they voted Republicans, they voted on the Donald Trump, but they are seriously so tired of him. Now, he's not doing anything for the average American. Come on, what did Donald Trump actually do for us? He promised us so much. He promised us so much, and he didn't do almost anything. This is kind of insane, right? Because if Donald Trump is not doing it, and Donald Trump pictured himself as America first, MAGA guy, he was really there for us, for the average Americans, but he isn't. So if Donald Trump is not doing this, who is gonna save the real Americans then? Who is gonna save the average American? Who is gonna care about the average American if Donald Trump is not even doing it, and he pictured himself as the MAGA guy? He would care about the real Americans, but if he is not even doing it, who will do this then? Because I highly doubt that the Democratic president, and I think the next president will be a Democratic one. I hate to say this, but I'm scared that this is gonna happen, and he doesn't care about this at all. So Donald Trump really lost my faith. Long story short, he promised us so much. I really believed in this man, that he would help the United States, the average American, that he would really help us. But what did he actually do for us? Almost nothing, right? He's every day in another country almost. He's helping every country in the world, but not our own nation. And this is, he lost so much credibility, he lost so much credibility because of this, because he's not doing anything, or he's not doing what he promised us.
The movement that he built is just, it's out of ideas, it's out of steam. We tried it, we thought we could do it, we can't. We gave it one last try, one last push, make America great again, let's do it. Never mind, everyone go home. We actually do need the Indians. We lost, we were wrong, the elites were right. We're worthless. We need Chinese money, we need Indian programmers. That's the sense of dread. And this is why I said a year ago, it really is about the vibes. I said this a year ago. Trump is old. He's tired. He's not funny. He's low energy. He's monotonous. I said, and his movement is dead. Like, his movement is not dynamic. His movement has been captured. Look at who's at Mar-a-Lago. It's all grifters. When Trump started, it was all true believers. When Trump started, it was like him and like a dozen people with a dream. And they were bootstrapping it. They were just doing these rallies, flying by the seat of their pants. And they're like, can we win? I don't know. We're going to try. And all the careerists and all of the parasite political class, they hated Trump. Now they're all in Mar-a-Lago. Now Mar-a-Lago is just the king's court, and it's all ass kissers and brown nosers and grifters and shills and the worst people imaginable. His endorsements have become a business. Access to him, photos with him have become a business. Like all of the shills from 15 are now on the inside. All the people that hated MAGA are now the biggest MAGA supporters. Trump has been fully assimilated. He has fully been compromised by the GOP. And there's nothing risky, nothing edgy. There's no entrepreneurial spirit. Look what happened to Elon Musk. Elon Musk came in. He was maybe the last push because he's a little younger and he bought Twitter and, he's the rocket man and everything like that. Elon came in with Doge. He got chewed up and spit out in 3 months. Elon was a little bit of energy. He was kind of like a little shock therapy for MAGA. And he lasted 3 months. He said, we're going to come in and we're going to bring in all these young guys and we're just going to move fast and break things. We could just do things. Remember, we could just do things. We're going to cut $1 trillion from the deficit. He got chewed up and spit out in 3 months. And now look at where we are. Nothing that has been promised has come to fruition. Can we end the wars? No. Trump wants to go back to Afghanistan. We're bombing Iran. We're building a base in Gaza. Mass deportations, Trump says, not so fast. We actually need all the people. We need the illegal farm workers. We need the illegal hospitality workers. We need the illegal construction workers. We're going to shut down H-1Bs, foreign students. Not so fast. We need all those Asians to fund our universities and do all the jobs that Americans are too retarded to do. Cut the deficit, forget about it. Epstein files, they don't exist.
Exactly. Where are the Epstein files? I still ask this almost every day to myself. Where are the Epstein files? But most important, what Nick just said here is this, people will probably disagree with him. That's fine. Many people will also agree with him. That's also fine. You can say whatever you want about Nick, but you can't call this man a liar. He is speaking some real facts. And again, I can say this over and over again. Even me, as a legal migrant myself, so I'm not even a real American, can you imagine? I completely agree with the fact that Donald Trump promised us so much about, he would build a wall. He would make sure that more people would be deported from the United States. He would hire less foreigners. He would hire more Americans. He would give more jobs to real Americans. Why is he not doing this? Why did he promise us or the real Americans so many things, but he is not actually doing this? Isn't this weird? Is Donald Trump control opposition? I don't know, but it's kind of suspicious and weird that he promised us so much and he is completely doing the opposite. He would deport many people. He is not doing that. I feel like more people are almost coming in now again. They said that they closed the border entirely, that no one was coming in. I don't believe anything from that. I feel like more people are coming in every day than ICE is picking up. ICE picks up maybe 200 people a day, 300 people a day maximum, but at the same day 3,000 people arrive again. So we can't continue to do this any longer. Otherwise, our whole nation, the United States, will literally go bankrupt, or they are destroying themselves. We need to solve some very important problems in this country, and I know we cannot do this in one day. Same as Nick just said, you can build Rome in one day. That's a really good point, but we should start today. And if Donald Trump is not doing this, who is really gonna save the United States? That's the question what I really had, because my faith was in Donald Trump and I believed he was good for the United States, but every day now I don't trust this man anymore. But again, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm curious about your opinion. Please let me know.
Can't afford a home? Well, get lost. Here we are a year in, your golden age. And it was rotten from the start because the donors got involved. And you have to understand that these things go hand in hand. When Trump started, he was not surrounded by the money. When Trump started, he funded his primary campaign with like $70 million. And it was just him and a small staff, and he was on Twitter, and that was it. And that's why it was energetic. That's why it was daring and risk-taking and exciting. And what happened really right after he won the election the first time in 17 and 18 is that all of the interests surrounded him, the money, the shills, the personnel, the bureaucrats. And the second that happened, they poisoned the well. And suddenly it became cautious and conventional and boring and safe. And suddenly it became about everyone getting a handout. It became about patronage. Everybody getting their back scratched, everybody getting taken care of under the table. Israel lobby, Wall Street, Silicon Valley, the corporate tax cuts, moving the embassy. It became about everything other than the people. These things go hand in hand. And this is what I said last year. Like all of these ideas that we talk about on the show, about personnel, about the Israel lobby, about the Trump campaign, about why things aren't happening quickly or at all these things are deeply related. If the Heritage Foundation is controlled by Israel lobbyists, if the Republican Party is controlled by the Israel lobby and the interests, if they're policing the young people in the speech, if they're working for the donors and the rich, then you're never going to get the good policy. You're never going to get your American revival. They're fucking killing our country. Every time the president of the United States says we have to take care of the universities before the young people, we have to take care of Hyundai and the South Koreans before we train up our own workforce, they're killing our country. They're murdering our country. In order to satisfy all the special interests and give the political kickbacks, we're literally murdering our country. And the whole idea behind Trumpism is that we could transcend the petty politics, the wheeling and dealing, the quid pro quo, the money power. The idea was if we could transcend that, if we could have the people elect one leader, and if he wasn't beholden to the interests, he could get in, hire the right people, and just fix it. And everybody'd be unhappy. The media'd be pissed. Everybody'd be pissed. There'd be pain and economic pain and maybe chaos. But with a firm hand and with consistency and with leadership that we could actually revive the country. We would have to break the back of all these self-perpetuating systems that have gotten us to this point. That was the whole idea. That's what made it interesting and exciting and worth supporting. And the second that it backslid into everything that came before, that's when I jumped off. That's when I said, I'm out. But all the idiots stuck around because, a lot of them, they just caught on way too late. A lot of people got red-pilled in like 2021. A lot of the people that voted for Trump in 24, they became conservative after the pandemic. They weren't there for the first time. And so their support for Trump is just like a generic conservatism. It's like a generic reaction to the excesses of the left. And so they weren't there for that magical campaign. They weren't there for that populist moment. And that's why they were sold a bunch of crap by propagandists on Twitter who were telling them it's going to be a never-ending Creed concert. We're going to be drinking Code Red Mountain Dew and playing Xbox, and it's going to be the golden age. Vivek Ramaswamy and Tulsi Gabbard are going to put America first or whatever. Like they were just not prepared for that. And now here we are. I was right. I told you so. This is not MAGA. There is nothing MAGA about any of this. This is not America first. None of this is putting Americans first. Every promise has been broken. There are no real victories. Trump has not delivered. It has been one disappointment after another, and that is because of corruption. That is because the Trump regime, just like every other regime, has been corrupted by money. That's the bottom line. You have been disappointed. You fell for it again. You believed them when they made a promise, which they never intended to keep. They said things to you to get your vote, knowing full well that once they got it, they were going to work for the donors.
Right, exactly. 10 points, A+ for Nick. And you should ask yourself, Who are the biggest donors? Who do you think those biggest donors are? I think we all know the answer already, and that shows you already enough, right? This is exactly what is happening over and over again in our country, and this is the reason why people are getting so tired of politics. Every time they promise us so many things, and they do completely the opposite. They literally play with us like we are just dolls or something. They just think, oh, those people, they will vote for us again, and once we have the votes, we can do whatever we want. We will promise those people what they want, but when we win, we will do what we want. And this is the reason why people don't believe in politics anymore, why people, they don't believe these elite people anymore, because they're just like lying to us over and over again. And of course, the donors are like, they are the biggest, or maybe they are the reason behind this. And I'm just curious, how do you think about this, and who do you think those biggest donors are? Please, if you know it, share it in the comments, because I think we all know, and it's happening always the same thing. They promise us so many things, and then we finally have someone who's gonna help the average American, like a Donald Trump, like he said that he would do. He would help us, and when he wins big time, don't forget this, Donald Trump won big time. He could change so many things in this country in favor of us, in favor of the MAGA people, but he is not doing this. He's not doing this, excuse me. Why? I don't know. Seriously, why is he not helping us? Meanwhile, he promised to do this. Meanwhile, he showed he was one of us. He said he was one of us, but he is not helping us. Is this suspicious? Yes. Does that say something that about Donald Trump maybe being controlled by other people? I don't know, but you should always ask yourself these questions, because I feel like it wouldn't be a weird question to ask if Donald Trump is maybe working in favor of someone else or some other people instead of the real Americans.
That's who pays for the cabinet appointments and the ambassadorships. That's who captures the bureaucracy. And that is why the system is sclerotic. That is why the system is slow and broken and unanswerable to the people and not even thinking about the people. And you're almost better off with Biden than with this. This is just like criminal stuff. And I'm not saying I'm at 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I don't care. But all Trump seems to have done, he's just as bad as the Democrats. The only difference is Trump has given people a false sense of victory. Trump has lulled people into complacency. Everybody thought the people triumphed when Trump won. He's different. He's talking like the rest of us. That's what is particularly sinister about the Trump movement, is the way that it functioned as a Trojan horse. Biden was worse. Kamala would have been worse. But at least with Kamala, nobody would be under any illusions. Would Kamala be better? No, she would have been far worse. The economy would be worse. Immigration would be worse. It all would be worse. But here's what matters, and here's the difference. Nobody would be under any illusions about what it is. That it's illegitimate. The elections are fake. The government's corrupt. She's not really in charge. The system hates us. There'd be no love lost there. And everybody would be acutely aware of the problem. You'd have righteous indignation. You'd have anger. There'd be a revolutionary fervor. But instead, with Trump, you get the pressure release valve. And no matter what he says or what he does, 50% of his audience, he has this diehard base of supporters. They'll support it no matter what. If he bombs Iran, they'll support it. If he brings in 500,000 Chinese students, they'll say he doesn't really mean it. If he fails to deport people, they'll say, well, who cares? The border's secure, so what? That's the problem. And so this is when you start to begin to think politically and start to think about what our real end game is. My end game is not to elect Republicans and be marginally better than the Democrats. No, my end game is I do want an energetic president. I want an energetic, forward-thinking, progressive, disruptive, populist executive branch that is gonna fucking break the back of the power in the country and put Americans first. No more kickbacks, no more deals, no more corruption, no more special interests, no more super PACs. We literally need a real leader that is actually popular and in control with agency, someone smart to get in, fire everybody, bring in his own people, and literally make the trains run on time. Literally build the new cities, raise the skyscrapers from the ground, build the factories, put us on a war footing. Make the fucking country great again. That's all I'm interested in. If it's not that, I don't want it.
Exactly. Nick is spot on. Like, for real, surprise, surprise. Again, I completely agree with everything Nick just said. This is just right. Everyone wants this. We voted for this. Why are we not getting this? Seriously, I don't know. If you know the answer, please share it in the comments. As well, if you agree with Nick, please share it in the comments. Even if you disagree with Nick, please share it in the comments. I'm very curious, and it's also important to say I read all comments. So please share your opinion. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you really like this video, consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. And last but not least, guys, I wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.